burst open, and a masked figure entered, holding a gun. "Get down," the intruder yelled, waving the weapon wildly. Daphne gasped, her hands trembling, while Fiona clenched her fists, her eyes locked on the intruder. Olu remained calm. "What do you want?" he asked, his voice unshaken. The masked man pointed the gun at Olu. "The Empire. I want the secrets to your wealth." Welcome to the Savannah Storytellers channel, where we give you the best African talks, love stories, folklore, and more. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate your support. Now back to the story. In the bustling streets of Lagos, where wealth and poverty often collide, there lived a man named Olu Ajayi. Known as Baba Ibeji, Olu was once a humble carpenter, but over the years he had risen to become one of the city's most mysterious and powerful figures. Rumors swirled about him. Some said he was blessed by the gods, others whispered he had made a pact with dark forces. But no one knew the truth, and Olu never offered explanations. All anyone could agree on was that Baba Ibeji was a man you didn't cross. Olu lived in a massive, sprawling mansion in Ikoyi, guarded day and night. He had twin daughters, Daphne and Fiona, both strikingly beautiful, but as different as night and day. Daphne, the elder by a few minutes, was calm, gentle, and charitable. Fiona, on the other hand, was bold, ambitious, and known for her fiery temper. The two girls had been inseparable growing up, but as they matured, a quiet rivalry began to brew between them, especially after their mother passed away. The tension between them escalated when their father began to prepare for his eventual retirement. Though he had built his fortune from scratch, Olu had no sons to carry on his legacy, so he announced that the child who proved themselves most worthy would inherit his empire. As the months passed, Daphne and Fiona threw themselves into proving their worth, but in very different ways. Daphne focused on charity work, believing that her father would value kindness and selflessness. She set up foundations for the poor, built schools, and spent her days with the less fortunate, often visiting the slums of Makoko. Fiona, however, took a different approach. She studied business, economics, and the ins and outs of her father's empire. She wanted to prove that she could not only manage the wealth but grow it. Her ambition burned bright, and she was determined to outshine her sister. Behind the scenes, she made connections with powerful politicians, investors, and businessmen, all while keeping a close eye on Daphne's every move. But one night, everything changed. It was a stormy evening when Olu called his daughters into his study. The air was thick with tension, and the sound of rain pounding against the windows only added to the ominous atmosphere. Olu, now frail and showing signs of his age, sat behind his massive oak desk. His eyes, however, were as sharp as ever. "I have made my decision," he began, his voice steady but weak. Daphne and Fiona exchanged tense glances. Before he could continue, the lights flickered, and the room was plunged into darkness. A loud crash came from outside, followed by hurried footsteps. Suddenly, the door to the study burst open, and a masked figure entered, holding a gun. "Get down," the intruder yelled, waving the weapon wildly. Daphne gasped, her hands trembling, while Fiona clenched her fists, her eyes locked on the intruder. Olu remained calm. "What do you want?" he asked, his voice unshaken. The masked man pointed the gun at Olu. "The Empire. I want the secrets to your wealth." It was then that Fiona realized something strange. The intruder wasn't just after money. He knew too much. He knew things only someone close to the family could know. She looked at her sister, who was now sobbing quietly on the floor, and a terrible thought crossed her mind. "Who sent you?" Fiona demanded, stepping forward. The intruder hesitated for a moment, then spoke. "It doesn't matter. What matters is that one of you knows exactly what I want." Before anyone could react, Olu suddenly stood up, defying his frail appearance. His voice boomed. "Enough of this," he shouted. "You think I don't know what's happening?" The intruder froze, clearly rattled by the old man's sudden authority. "I know who sent you," Olu continued, his eyes burning with anger. "But let me tell you something, no one steals from me." Before the intruder could respond, Olu moved faster than anyone expected, grabbing a concealed dagger from beneath his desk and lunging at the man. A struggle ensued, and in the chaos, the mask fell off, revealing the intruder's face. It was Adamu, the family's trusted driver. Daphne screamed, "Adamu, how could you betray us?" But Fiona wasn't surprised. She had suspected something was amiss for weeks. Olu, breathing heavily, stood over Adamu, who now lay subdued on the floor. "You thought you could betray me?" Olu spat. "Do you know how many have tried and failed?" As Adamu was dragged away by security, the truth came out. Adamu had been secretly working with a shadowy figure, a rival businessman who had long coveted Olu's empire. But what shocked everyone the most was the revelation that the plan had been set into motion by someone within the family. Olu turned to his daughters, his face grim. "One of you has been feeding information to my enemies." Daphne looked shocked, while Fiona's face remained unreadable. "I've spent my life building this empire," Olu continued. "But it's clear now that power corrupts. I set this rivalry between you two, thinking it would make you stronger, but it has only bred distrust and jealousy." A heavy silence filled the room. "I know who the traitor is," Olu said finally, his eyes scanning his daughters. "But I won't reveal it, not yet." Instead, he took a deep breath and gave them an ultimatum. "You have 1 year to prove yourselves, not as competitors, but as family. Whoever can show me they are loyal to this family, without lies, without betrayal, will inherit everything." With that, he dismissed them, leaving Daphne and Fiona to grapple with the heavy weight of suspicion, knowing that the next year would determine not just their future, but the future of the entire Ajayi empire. In the weeks that followed, the tension between the sisters grew unbearable. They no longer saw each other as family but as potential threats. The question remained, who had betrayed Chief Olu? And what lengths would they go to ensure their place as the rightful heir? As the year unfolded, secrets were exposed, alliances shifted, and both sisters learned that in the game of wealth and power, nothing was ever as it seemed. Watch out for the second part of this story. If you like this story, kindly like this video and subscribe to our channel. We'd like to hear from you. Drop a comment on what you think about this story. See you next time.